which means you can only say Shavuos going forward. I'm not going to do X, I'm not going to do Z. There's no Shavuos of talking about something of the past in the world of Rabbi Shmuel. The pasuk says lahara or lehetif. A man will make a shvuah lahara, do bad to himself or to do good to himself. So you say eile lidvarim shesh b'marav atava. You only know things that are good and bad. Good and bad. To eat lunch, not to eat lunch. Which one's good? So to do something positive that's good, that's lehetif. Lahara is do something bad to himself. How do you know to include things that are not bad, not good? Regular stuff, not bad and not good. The pasuk says, "Oy nefesh kisi shava levatim misvasayim." Levatim misvasayim is mashma anything. Oy nefesh kisi shava levatim misvasayim. Eile levatim shava. Eile labo. Right, the hara lehetiv. The shava minayin. This is the Beis. L'choil sheyevate adam mishvua. Says l'choil. L'choil includes everything. It includes even things that are not bad and not good. So again, looks like that the enefshkis is shava that's going on. Even things are not bad, not good. Then Adler shava also. We'll see how this drasha works soon. From the chol sheyevate adam mishvua. From the chol sheyevate adam mishvua. These are Rabbi Kiva's. Rabbi Kiva included two things from the pasuk. Number one, things that are not doing bad and not good, not lahar lativ. Secondly, it's also come to include la shava, things of the past. Rabbi Shmuel no, lahar lativ laba. Lahar lativ is laba. No, lahar lativ is laba. You can't include things of the past. I'm going to Rabbi Kiva, if you are so makbid to keep the pasuk as it says, not to expand the pasuk at all. So for you, maybe only things that have bad and good. How do you know things that don't have bad and good? How do you know? Amaloi, maybe Ribi Akosif. And am I Mayim from Lachala Shevate? Imarbe. Amaloi, Im Riba Kosif Lakach. Riba Kosif Lakach. Imarbe for this, and Imarbe for that. Imarbe for this, Imarbe for that. So if you marry, can't cut corners. Can't cut corners. That was a kasher Kiva Asher B'Shmuel. Ad can the Beis. Says Gemara, he has a good point, doesn't he? Shapik Amir Kiva B'Shmuel. Kiva seems to say a valid point. Shapik Amir Kiva B'Shmuel. Amir B'Yechlan. This Machlokes of Kiva B'Shmuel has deep roots, deep shirashim. And it depends on another big machlokes, famous machlokes. Arvechnu, Amar Arvechnu. Shmuel, Shiur says, "Rabbi Nechuniah ben Akana." Rabbi Shmuel's rabbi was Rabbi Nechuniah ben Akana, and he, as we know in Shas, we always have machlokes. When you have a rule in the Torah, and then you have details, and then you have a rule again. It's called a klal pratik klal. So how do you dash it? Do you dash it klal pratik klal? That means it's rule and then prat and a klal, or you dashed it ribu yemiyat v'ribu, or you dashed it by ribu yemiyat v'ribu, which had it a few days ago, right? That's a few days ago. This is going to be the machlokes from Shmuel and Kiva. So Yoir is called a terikula b'chala prat. So Shmuel was a Talmud of Rabbi Nechuniah ben Akana, dashed the whole Torah b'chala prat. Iyanami Yoir is b'chala prat. He also darshan the psukim klal prat. Rabbi Kiva's Shimshon says Nachmanish Gamzu. Rabbi Kiva's rabbi was Nachmanish Gamzu. Nachmanish Gamzu l'toiva. So Dorish is called Tarakula by Riba Biyat. A darshan al Torah. Riba Biyat. You now have Dorish Riba Biyat. He also darshan Riba Biyat. This is going to be the machlokes over here, and this is going to be the understanding of these two shittas. If you can be married for the pasuk also l'shava, a shvuah about something I did yesterday. Explain the Gemara. Mayim Kiva. Dorish ribuya miyata. How will this work over here? In our case, Shmuel will darish ribuya miyata. That's the Gemara. In nefesh kisi shava. Pasuk says in nefesh kisi shava. In nefesh kisi shava. Nefesh kisi shava. Any shvuah. It's a ribu. That was pshat in the Beis before. Nefesh kisi shava, whatever shvuah you make, that's a marbe. That is lahar lehitiv. is a miyat, then the harlahativ, the detail, and it's excluding. It's not everything. It's marv again. Marv again. So you have riba miyat riba. So you have a klal. We don't call it klal prat klal. We call it a riba miyat riba. Riba koil. Riba miyat riba. Riba koil. Include everything. My riba. Riba kalmidi. What did he include? He included everything. My miyat. What did you exclude? Miyat va mitzvah. Mitzvah, those was chalad va mitzvah. That's what we excluded. One thing only. My va mitzvah. Rabbi Shmuel, that's the word of Rabbi Kiva. Therefore, we do include the sha'ava, and we do include things that are not lahar lehativ, things that are not bad, not good, because you have a riba miyat riba. You have a riba. Welcome back. Rabbi Shmuel sava adarish no klal not klal. Rabbi Shmuel holds that's not the way. That's not our attitude towards a rule and a detail in a rule. So Rabbi Shmuel darshans klal prat. Oy nefesh kisi shava levatus v'sayim. That's a klal. Ban makes a shvur. Levatus v'sayim. That's a rule. Klal. Lahar lehativ is a prat. Klal prat. Then you have another klal. Chal shivat adam. Chal shivat adam. Chaz v'kolol. That's another klal. Klal prat a klal. You have to done any kind of prat. Klal prat a klal. You only done any kind of prat. Ma prat the furish laba. Afkoi laba. Like the prat in the furish laba. Also always. It's only laba. It's always laba. Afkoi laba. So hani klala. So very good. So lefi Reb Shmuel, you don't include that much. How the klala last week after the dvarim she'ema rava tava. So the klal prat will include even things that are not bad, even things that are not bad and not good, because we'll elaborate, we'll expand the pasuk. The klal will be marva for the dvarim she'ema rava tava. Laba had a prati. Laba. Things she'ema rava tava. Laba. And the prati, the mutaf and the dvarim sheyesh b'meravatava, the prat will come to exclude and say will be revived even dvarim sheyesh b'meravatava. L'sha'ava, it's going on the past, Therefore, this is the reason of Rabbi Shmuel that includes things that are not lahar lehativ, but excludes. He's going to exclude things that are l'sha'ava. Friday morning, okay, you have to include one thing. Exclude another. So how do you know which way around to do it? Maybe if I can't. Maybe if I can't. Do it the other way around. Maybe include the sha'ava, include yesterday, the sha'ava, and exclude things that are not lahar lehativ. How do you know which way around to do it? Are yitzhak? Do it lahar lehativ. We still too close to the harlate. Misha Sur is really yachad varay. That means that the shava is a lot further stretch than the harlate. Why? Misha Surah Mishum bal yachad varay. The whole is have to be bal yachad varay. Don't desecrate your words. The yachad varay. Going future tense. Don't go against your words. Don't be machal your words. Don't make your words cheap. Right. The mashma, you have a choice. Either to keep it or not to keep it. It's going in the future. Don't desecrate your words. Yatzazu she'ene thuroi mishum al yachad varay and mishum bal teshakru. On the sha'ava, that's bal teshakru. On the sha'ava, that's bal teshakru. Don't lie. That's not le yachad varay bal teshakru. Therefore, it's further away from the pasuk. Therefore, we don't include that from this drasha. Says word. Another ayah. Nefesh is a shava levatus society. This is interesting lashon over here. Nefesh is a shava levatus society. Misha Shevuot kedemes la bitui. The Shevuot, Rashi learns the bitui is the keeping it. So you say only something if the Shevuot comes before the keeping it. That means the Ma'ashein Kelam means you make a Shevuot. First comes the Shevuot, and then comes the Maisa. Then comes the act. Keep it or don't keep it. That's the Shevuot. For Loi, that's the Shevuot Kedemus Lamaisa. Before the action. That's called Shevuot Bitui. The Shevuot comes before the keeping it. Ma'ashein came. V'lo Shabitu Kedemus the Shevuot. Not if the bitter comes before the shua. This man says a chalti v'lo chalti. The act was yesterday. The bitter means the oisphere, keeping of it. That came before you made the shua. That came before you made the shua. More means not in time. When you make the shua, you talk about something that you did already. That's not called a bitter. The ma'isa chila that we talk about came before the shua. You also say chalti v'lo chalti. The ma'isa came before the shua. That's his. Therefore, Shmuel prefers, or is forced to say that we can only include. Shmuel says we can only include from this pasuk we can only include not lahar later. We can't include something of yesterday. Can't include something yesterday. Tanrabanan. Ha'adam b'shua. Pasuk says l'choyla shivata ha'adam b'shua. What's ha'adam b'shua mean? Prat la'onus. Well, the Gemara will soon elaborate. Prat la'onus. If it's an onus, not a problem. See what onus means. Then he says the pasuk v'nela mimenu v'yada v'nelam prat la'mezid. Mimenu. Do we say mimenu? Shenis almo mimenu shvua. Only if it doesn't know the shvua. Yochash zalmen a chayfetz. The Gemara will explain what this means. You know about the shvua, you just don't know this is the chayfetz that you asked. Havelayim b'shvua v'nelam. Alam shvua chayev. Yodi chayev for the head of shvua. And a shvua chayev. Ve'en chayev and head of chayfetz. Let's go through these three things. Let's try to figure it out. These drushes. Omar. Ha'adam b'shvua prana adus. One's only chayiv a carbon shvua when he was an adam b'shvua, not an onus. Onus is not chayiv. Now, what's the case? Could Rav Kana, Rav Asi? Say more a story. Rav Kana, Rav Asi, kavakaima kavadarav. They were talmidim of Rav. Then they were chazing the Shiur. So the Rav, yeah. Then had a machloikus. What did Rav say today in the Shiur? What did he say? Maybe this was after he passed away. And that machloikus. That machloikus. No, I swear, Rav said differently in the Shiur. He also covered the Rav. Hey, Rav was alive. Yeah, Rav was alive. They came to answer that. They were chazing the Shiur, and then they came to they argued what Rav said, and both made shvuas. They were so convinced they were right, to the extent that they swear that they're right. So Rav said like one of them. So Rav said one's right, other one's wrong. Oh no, I made a shvua sheker. I'm not a sheker shtaboy. I made a shvua sheker. No, it's not a shvua sheker. Why? Livcha anscha. Yeah, it's not your fault. You're saying the truth. That you're so convinced. That's called the onus. He was so convinced that he's right. You know, like a suffix. That's called onus. Finish called onus. Finish called onus. Like you were like 1,000% sure. Right. I'll swear I'm right. No. This is a chiddush. That's not called sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Much better excuse.
What did I say?
You don't make good.
Yeah. Right. I would have said, right? Don't start. You know the other guy holds. The other guy also knows what he's talking about. Yeah, the machtoch shvir. And one's wrong. Yeah, what's felt toast to shvir. But it's called your heart told you this is the amos. Nele menu, next Parsha. Nele menu, chayev. Nele menu, we said it's alam and shvua. Only if the shvua is the salam. Yeah. Yochash salam and chayfetz. Only when you don't know about the shvua. Al helem shvua hu chayev. Ben chayev al helem chayfetz. Says the God. Mach chalei b'merab. They laughed about this drush. They found it amusing. What does this mean? What does it mean? Bishlam shvua b'shkach shlab lechayfetz. I can have a shvua and I don't know which chayfetz it is. Not going. That makes sense. Going to Amma shvua sheichel paschitten. Make a shvua I won't eat bread of wheat bread. Uksav sheichel sheichel kala. He said sheichel, and he forgot, and he said, he thought he said I'm gonna eat. So he made a mistake. Sav sheichel kala. The shvua inchi. He forgot the shvua. He remembers about bread. It's about bread, but he just forgot what the shvua was. So the shvua inchi cheftzadachi. He remembered he forgot the shvua. He remembered the bread. That's called. He remembered the chefet. He forgot the shvua. And a chefet below shvua chadami. A chefet below shvua. Chefet below shvua. How does that work? How's a chefet below shvua? How do you remember the chefet, not the shvua? Can go into Amma Shur shall Eichel Pas Chitten. Shur shall need bread of Chitten. Oksavar shall Soiren. Ka'ama. Before he said Soiren. No. So why? The Shur said Dachale. He remember they made the Shur, that you only Pas Chitten, but he thought he said Soiren. Chefze Inshi. So why? Why is that called he forgot the Chefze? He forgot the Shur. He thought he said Pas Soiren. He didn't. That's called he remembered the Shur. Remember, I swear. He swear the wrong thing. It was Chefze Inshi. I had him sure. He forgot the shvuah. That's sure. That's why they found this. Couldn't understand. Why is this called forgetting the chefza? Just forget it. You forgot the shvuah you made. And or Blaza Davda Achasi, both the same. No two things. Master Yosef Alma Alama chefza shvuah b'shkachisla. Why not? Why did he have chefza shvuah? Well, b'shkachisla have a case. Why? Because Amma shvuah shall oichel pas chitten. A man made a shvuah won't pas chitten. How should the other sal? And he put his hand into a basket, little pas oirin. And he put his hand in a basket to take pas oirin. Also, chitten. So he made a shvuah wheat. Put his hand in the basket to take body's mutter. And it came out chitten. So it's body. So it's body. Put his hand in to take body, and he thought it's body. Va'achar ate it. Remember the shvuah. Remember the shvuah. Chefted la yadale. I'm going to buy the same thing. So he knew he made a shvuah not to eat wheat. He put his hand in the basket. He knew there's barley bread. His hand went on the wrong bread. So he knows the shvuah, doesn't know the chayfetz. I'm going to buy a klum chayiv the carbon elamite the tafsi yadei. You only chayiv carbon for what he holds in his hand. Hand of shvuah. That's also. He knows what's on his hand. So he doesn't know that the shvuah is said about what's on his hand. That's called hand of shvuah. He knows he made a shvuah. Yeah, we don't know if this thing in his hand is the item he made a shvuah on. Is the item he made a shvuah on? Soy, carbon kabaisi Allah. The high pass. Mia, hand of shvuah. Same thing, just not the lashon. You bring a carbon. Why? Because this ate this bread. Because this bread. That's called hand of shvuah. We also amalach now. Give the chiyadalei chitten who Parsha. If you tell him, oh, this is wheat, he will jump like hit by a snake, bitten by a snake. Therefore, halem chayfetzu. That is called halem chayfet, not halem shur. It's not halem shur. It's halem chayfet. Because if you tell him it's wheat, he'll jump. So the problem was we had the similar few days ago. Remember with the Beis Mikdash, the man went to the Beis Mikdash and he forgot this is Beis Mikdash. He forgot both things. It's the next part going to be the same sort of idea. So you see what triggers him, what will tell him, says Gemara. If you forget both, he doesn't know that he made a shvuah. He doesn't know this is the item made a shvuah. He thinks this is barley. He doesn't know he made a shvuah. Now, yeah, it's helem shvuah, and it's going to be chayev. Maiseh didn't know the shvuah. It's chayev. Adraba, I had him chayvetz biyadei pat. Adraba, had him chayvetz. The Maiseh doesn't know this is the chayvetz. Shvipata. Amar Ashi Chazinon. We'll see. Imach mashvuah kaparish. When you tell him he made a shvuah, he jumps, or he had him shvuah biyadei. That it's had him shvuah. It's chayev. Imach was chayvetz kaparish. If Imach was chayvetz, he had him chayvetz biyadei pata. When you remind him, when does it trigger? You tell him, hey, this is wheat. Then he remembers. It's a ride. The ikka forgetfulness was about the wheat. But if you tell him you made a shvuah, then he remembers. The ikka was you forgot the shvuah. I'm gonna have Rashi. I don't understand. Klim parish b'shvuah and b'shem chayfetz. You only parish the shvuah because of the chayfetz. Klim parish b'chayfetz and b'shem shvuah. It's the same thing. Same Gemara before. It triggers the other thing, but he forgot both. So you should be part of a shvuah of a carbon, both cases. So this therefore he doesn't agree to this svara, and they're both called helam zev zebiyadoi, and there won't be a chi of carbon. Ezehi shgogas shvias bitila shaba. What do you have a case? How do you have a case of a shoygig? Because we said a shvuah of shoygig, then you have a carbon. You have a carbon. On yesterday, this was the machlokes Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Shmuel says there's no shvuah of something I did yesterday, and Rabbi Kiva says there is. Kiva says it is. Kiva says it is. It says the Gemara, what's the case of Shigia Shvuas Bitul Shava? When you have a case of a Shogig of a Shvuas Bitul of yesterday. Marashach. How does it show you? Iyyar, if you knew that you made a Shevuot, that you're lying. He said a lie. Yesterday I went downtown. That's a Shevuot. And there's a shogeg, and you bring a carbon. Shogeg. How does it show you? How does it show you? If you knew that you went yesterday downtown and you nevertheless swear, then you amaze it. When you absolutely amaze it, you're not a shogeg. No carbon for amaze it. No carbon for amaze it. Obviously. Either lo yada. You never knew you went there. You never knew. You thought you're saying the truth. Well, that's not shogeg. Why is that a shogeg? Why is that shogeg? Honest. That's called honest. Adler b'shvua for honest. That's honest. Given to be the other b'shvua, I can shkach less Rashi. Yeah. So that's called honest. Why? Because you thought you're right. Like the Gemara before, he thought Rav said this. That's called honest. So the man thought he never went yesterday. He doesn't recall. His brain doesn't register. So that's why I show you. What makes that show you? So the Gemara didn't forget. When a person makes a shvua, he goes forward. He forgot the shvua. He didn't forget shvua. He thinks this is a fact. Amalei now bidei yedani shvua ziyasura. I know it's awesome. He didn't have a carbon. I mean, I know I'm lying. He knows he's lying, but he doesn't know there's a chi of carbon. Doesn't know the chi of carbon. So now on that fact, you have to bring a carbon. Yeah. Therefore, that's called a shogi chayav chatas. That's called chayav chatas. Olav. Kaman, who? That's a chiddush case of shogi. He knows he made a shvua. He doesn't know there's a carbon. Kaman, who holds that? Kaminvas. This is a shit of Minvas the Amar. Shigas carbon. Shmoshkaga. Yeah, Minvas holds this idea of Masech Shabbos. But a man knows he did Aveira, but doesn't know there's a chi of carbon. Then that'll be a chi of that's called a shogi. It's a b'chaytzim of Shabbos. Samach tes. Right? You have Aveira b'mezid. Right. You don't know there's a chi of carbon. So there were no raya. Maybe no shaykhs to Hilchah Shabbos. Affiliate Rabbanim. So they were Affiliate Rabbanim. Adler le pig Rabbanim the Minvas ele b'chala terekula la chidushu. The Rabbanim argue and they say chala terekula we don't agree because it's not a chiddush and that's not called a shogi. Aval hacha the chidushu. This whole idea of a carbon by a shvua is a chiddush. The whole concept they bring a carbon. And making a shvua b'shoyeg is a chiddush. Why? Because always carbonas come for a case when there's kores b'mezit. That's always chatas. That's always chatas, right? Every time you doing kores, she goes a chatas. First Mishnah creases. There are 36 creases. So there's a case of creases. B'shoyeg, there's going to be a chatas. But here by mezit, there's no then kores. No kores over here by Shvuah. So the whole idea over here doing carbon is a chiddush HaTorah that it's a unique case. Avrach the chiddush. Therefore, since it's a unique case, therefore we don't follow those rules and the different guidelines. What's called a shogig. Aval hacha the chiddush. B'chol HaTorah le ashkalav the basic carbon. If you don't avoid the Zera, b'hacha ma'isi here bring a carbon. After about a moidi, here about a moidi that you are going to be chayav a carbon. Okay, got to go. Clearly more. Not carbon. Carbon shogi.
What's the shogi?
The shogi. He didn't know there's a chi of carbon. Yeah, that itself is a shogi. That's only been by Malchus. By Malchus, he wasn't warned. He himself knew he's amazing. Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I wonder if it'd be warned. If be warned, it's probably the same thing. You don't need to be warned. Be warned, be the same thing. Right? Between munvas, right? Even as a made it. You know? Always have made it. I wonder if it's warned. The Gemara Shabbos Samach test, right? The Gemara Samach test. With Asra, without Asra. I don't know. Even as one. This idea that you forget the concept of carbon takes away the severity of the Aveira and therefore you won't be chayav. Chiddush. Says the boy may Ravina Merava. Nishval kikim is stakid alei. He made a shvua, I'm not going to eat this bread. Then his scholars nefashos. What time of shayla is that? What time of shayla is that? He has to eat it. Scholars nefashos. What's shayla? It's mutter. No. And mitzvah achlam. Yatzar. Yeah, not a sakana. Take it easy. No sakanas the fashes. Yatzar was starving. Even if you remember the shvua, he would eat it. That's this guy. He was actually a shogeg. He ate it, otherwise he would have eaten it anyway, because the guy was just desperate. Shouldn't have. And there's a wrong thing, but the Maisa said he would have. So is that called a shogeg or not? The Maisa he ate it, he didn't know. He would have eaten it even if he knows. And the mitzvah achla. The shigga shvua my. Amalei tanina. Shavi das to make a carbon. Carbon's only in a case that if you'd known, Shavi das, you wouldn't have done it. Then you bring a carbon al shigasa. Lai Shavi das, if you're not Shavi das, ain't maybe carbon al shigasa. If you're not Shavi das, you don't bring carbon al shigasa. If you're not Shavi das, they don't bring carbon al shigasa. That's the cloud in the always. Says the Gemara. Amar Shmuel. Gama b'liboy. Person wants to make a shvua, and he makes a decision, and he decides with his heart that I'm going to do this. And he has to express it with his mouth. That means just because you thought to make a shvua, that will not make this a shvua. Shvua has to be said, has to be expressed with words. The pasuk says, "Levate bisvasoyim." He has to be mevate, has to express it with his lips. Meisvei, but in your heart, it's not a shvua. Shvua is in the heart and not a shvua. Meisvei, straight Gemara. Meisvei. Bisvasayim, believe. Prices of bisvasayim. Only when you make a shvua with your lips, not with your heart. Come and believe it benign. The person is new level. Man is going to believe it. Which means he decides it is that you want the shvua to be chal. Then how do you know? You don't add up. First explain the Parsha. So this Parsha seems to say at the end that it does work to make a shvua with your heart, even if you didn't say it. It's a steer b'nei beit. First you said only to make a shvua with your lips, not with your heart. That's a and then you said, then you said, how do you know? There's going to be a chiv shvua. Amr Sheishes is the Holocaust. There's a difference, two cases. Holocaust, Hachakama. Bisvasai, Veloishkama, Veliboy, Hoitz Bisvasav. Bisvasai means if I decided I'm going to make the shvua, I'm going to express it. I'm not going to keep it inside me. That was the intent. Veloy Hoitzi. But he didn't. He didn't express it. And that's not a shvua. That's not going to be a shvua. Go believe me. Stam in nine. If a man stam, go believe it, not to express it. Stam go believe it. He didn't decide he's gonna say it with words. He wants to make a shvua with his heart. Then maybe that will work. And the Bryce says, yeah, that will work. Anyway, how you express it, they call you vata. You vata with the heart. This lachol is kicking in again. And this will include this case. That's how we can learn the Bryce. That's all very good mitzvah the Bryce. Shmuel kasher. There's going to be a kasher Shmuel because Shmuel said there's no such thing as making a shvua with dvarim shebelev. No such thing as making a shvua in your heart. Shvuas have to be expressed. They're not said in words. They're not shvuas. Dvarim shebelev and dvarim. Shmuel kasher amarev sheishet teretz v'emachi. Read like this. Bisvasayim. Bisvasayim. Read the Bryce a different way. Okay, Bisvasayim. This is why we say only you say it with your lips, not if you wanted to say paschitim and then he said pasa'ir. That is not a shua. He said pas. He decided to say chitin. He didn't say chitin. He said pas stam. Minayin, how do you know? Tamid loima l'chol sheivata adam. L'chol sheivata adam. L'chol sheivata adam. Yeah. Yes, anything in Mavata, even not Mavata the whole shvua, he said the word pass. Anything, any little amount that Mavata is enough. Mavate is enough. But in the heart, no such thing as just having a shvua without saying the words. You can't make a shvua with the heart. That's not how. Meisvei, Moitzav Secha, Tishbor, Masisa, says in Parsha. Says Moitzav Secha, Tishbor, you have to keep the words of your lips. Says Says the Brisa. You already know if you said it with your lips. How do you know if you only decide in your heart that that's considered a Shevuot? Oh, here it's pretty clear, not like Shmuel. Kol Divleiv. Says the Yoir, Shanas Dechsev, Kol Divleiv. Says different. There's talking about the guy would bring a carbon. Bring a carbon. Kol Divleiv. So there is a different halacha. Different halacha. It's a nishpa for a mitzvah. Right. Says the Yoir, Kol Divleiv. Let's talk about the Gavnidus Mishkan. Says, well, okay, okay, learn from there. Learn from there. To have a truma of culture, take Shevuot kechad. We have twice in the Torah, side by truma samishkan, and side by culture. The Torah says hard enough. Since it says it twice, we have a rule called take Shevuot kechad emlamdin. Since the Torah says it twice, that's all right. Anywhere else, this is not the geya. How do you emlamdim is good? Elamdin malamdim ma'iklamema. If it's malamdim, what do you say? And tomorrow have a chud of a culture. Yeah, you can't allow. There's a case of culture, but a culture like a rinon. You don't allow it. Could have a culture. Morgan, Schreidish 7, she is 7:20, 6:20. With Davis and Silk. Yeah, serious stuff.